First of all, I am distinguished members of the board, the faculty, proud parents in the audience, and most of all, the batch of 2013. I congratulate you on this. It's a great feeling for me to stand here and address this young crowd. I graduated from college, from IIT Bombay, over 30 years back, and visiting this campus is an exercise in nostalgia. I did visit this campus once before, about 8 years back, at the invitation of Dr. Jain, and saw the school, and I'm delighted to see how much progress has happened in this wonderful university that you're part of. Right now, you're probably feeling a little impatient, restless for the ceremony to get over, just like I was. But I can guarantee you this, you're not going to forget today. Our milestones loom large only on looking back. We don't realize our defining moments when they are upon us. Allow me to express my admiration for you, the top rankers of this graduating class. As a student, I have to confess, I wasn't an overachiever. In college, I discovered that academic excellence and competition was less important to me than most people. I ranked somewhere in the middle. I was nothing exceptional, but I wouldn't recommend that to you, but I'm just telling you what happened to me. I can't excuse my laziness. I really should have focused more on my studies. But along the way, I did learn something, that no matter what your passion is, academics or something else, the point of it has to be more than just beating the competition. Focusing on just beating everyone else actually gets in the way of what you want to do. If anyone here has played a competitive game, chess, tennis or badminton, you know what I mean. The main opponent in a game, especially in a game with very close equals, is always yourself. I was a table tennis player in college, so I experienced this in matches. If you don't deal with your inner challenges, your opponent is irrelevant. Your own self-doubt freezes your feet and slows down your reflexes. The ball becomes much too fast for you. You will play against yourself and you will lose. You must therefore fight your own insecurities, uncertainties and reasons for being there before you can worry about the person across the net. Once I decided how much academic competition mattered to me, I discovered my own priorities. I focused on things outside my studies. I was the General Secretary of IIT and head of the organizing committee for IIT Bombay's College Festival, Mood Indigo. And I learned how to collaborate with people easily. I discovered that approaching things with a collaborative mindset helped me work even with people who strongly disagreed with my opinions. It helped us find common ground and to get things done. For instance, the year that we are organizing Mood Indigo, a devastating flood took place in Andhra Pradesh. Some students got together and protested that the festival should not take place since it would disrespect the victims of the flood. The mood between them and the rest of the college got quickly confrontational. I knew many of the people who were protesting, so I met them and reached a consensus. We decided that a part of the Mood Indigo funds we collected would be for the relief of the flood victims and the festival would go on. It was an incident that proved to me early on the power of setting aside feelings of aggression and one-upmanship and working together. At first, this isn't easy. All of us know this, that we instinctively notice and focus on our differences. It's much harder for us to recognize the common ground we all share. But if you can do it, the power it brings is enormous. Working with other people taught me that there were all kinds of smarts that I didn't have, however bright I thought I was. And getting different people, different skills together allowed you to build as a team something you could never build alone. Seeing my peers as friends and collaborators rather than as opponents also helped me manage the peer pressure around me. As Indians, we all know how powerful and intense that can be. As kids, we are compared constantly to the neighbors' kids, to our classmates, to our family members. And trust me, it will never stop. Your parents and elders will never quit bragging about you or telling you what your cousins are up to. But the question is, how much do you let that affect you or define you? By the time I graduated college in 1978, our economy was not doing so well. Many of my batchmates were preparing to leave the country and were giving the GMAT and GRE. I still think those exams exist. This seemed like the smart move considering India's economy at the time. I found the option intriguing, but finally decided it wasn't for me. I stayed on in India and joined Patni Computer Systems, where I met Mr. Narayan Murthy for the first time. If I had followed my friends, I'm sure I would have had a decent enough life. I would have done a postgraduate degree in the US, I would have settled down somewhere on the East Coast and done a regular 9-to-5 job. I would have had all the things in my personal life that mattered, a family, happy kids, enough money, and we may have got the same temperamental family dog who barked at all our guests. But if you want an extremely fulfilling career, defining your goals through competition and your peers will not get you there. It's not the right map or the right toolkit. Your goals should be set by no one but yourself. Your peers are valuable in a different way. They are the people you team up with, to collaborate with, to achieve the things you dream of. I believe that is even more important today. Our civilization is in a sweet spot now when it comes to the possibilities to build things collaboratively. If the 20th century was about hierarchy, the 21st century is about networks. The people who have the most opportunities today are the ones who collaborate and build the largest and most diverse networks. They're either generous or they aren't. It's not just generosity with your wealth, which when you have it, it's being generous with your ideas, your time, your ability to help. It's being generous in giving people respect and recognition. I've always believed that if there's a skeleton key to my success, this is it. This is the element that makes collaboration powerful, that bridges the distance between people and makes them your friends and allies. I've noticed that in my personal and professional life, this sometimes makes all the difference between success and failure. Early on, when Infosys was earning its stripes with clients, I had a Jewish client visiting Mumbai for work. So I contacted some people I knew to find out the synagogues in the city. When he arrived, I took him on a day-long tour of the Jewish part of Mumbai. Not many people know about the long history of Jews in Mumbai and different backgrounds. It was quite an experience for both him and me, and he became a lifelong client. When you are generous, you find it often rebounds back to you. Some years ago, the journalist Tom Friedman had visited me at Infosys. He was interviewing people in India for his new book. He had traveled around Bangalore for several days, talking to businessmen, writers, politicians, and he was puzzled by the changes that were happening. He had noticed many trends: increased jobs from outsourcing, more people speaking English, but he hadn't connected them into one big idea. Since I was in the thick of things, I was able to explain what was happening. The playing field is being leveled, Tom, I told him, because of the forces of connectivity and globalization. The world was getting flattened in terms of opportunities people had. An American, a Filipino, an Indian, for the first time in history, had similar chance in using their skills to get a good job in the same global company. He used that idea as a connecting theme in his book, The World is Flat, and he acknowledged and thanked me for it. Many people heard of me in the US because Tom had mentioned me in his book. Later, when I wrote Imagining India, he penned the introduction to the US edition. My lesson from all this has been, don't ever hoard your skills, your contacts, your time, your knowledge. Be generous. People will help you build on them and make them more effective. The way you choose to compete or collaborate will define you in many ways. One of the great things about being the age you are now is that you have strong, hard-to-shake ideals. But as you accumulate experiences, you will find that many of your convictions will get shaken up. you will find that the world is complex, that the truth isn't easy or one-dimensional. But when you don't have to rely on competition and the pressure of your peers to navigate your life, when the voice is in your head is your own and no one else's, you will then be able to tell the difference between the belief that you need to revise and the unchanging beliefs that are part of your value system. You will be able to keep to your compass no matter what. You will regret fewer things. One of the things I've learned is always to get out of my comfort zone. It's very easy to get into a comfortable cocoon and live in that. But you must constantly change your comfort zone, do new things, because that's the only way you can test whether you really have that inner fortitude to deal with the challenges. I have come up against the law once, and hopefully the only time in my life. It was a Sunday. I was heading to work, and I took an illegal U-turn to get to my office. A cop spotted and stopped me immediately, and I began to talk to him, trying to explain myself. I could see that he wanted a bribe, and I wasn't inclined to give it. But the moment I mentioned Infosys, his manner changed. He said, "You're from Infosys? Then of course you have to pay the fine." And he issued me a challan. I have never been proud of the company and the reputation and values it has held on to. I stand here and see your youth, your great promise, the opportunities that lie ahead of you. I know, however, that there is a lot of worry when graduating about what next. Insecurity is a co-traveler who turns up at the worst of times. It turns up when we are facing uncertainty in our career, in love, during our hardest losses. It is at times like these that the toolkit you build will help you the most. Your clarity and faith in how you deal with people, such as friends and acquaintances, and how you approach your work will help you overcome nervousness and give you the belief that no matter what, you will land on your feet. It will help you to take control of the world around you rather than the other way around. As Jack Welch said, control your destiny or somebody else will. All these years, you have been preparing to go out into the world and start your career. You imagine what it's going to be like. But you know what? You should already have an idea. Your frame of reference is all that you have been doing till now and in your college years. Because your career is not a single decision, a single move. It's a series of many small decisions you make throughout your life. The decisions you make about working with people or viewing them as opponents. The decision to make about following your gut versus following your friends. The decision to make about what you do with your skills and time and how generous you are with them. All these have already started to define you. And all these will determine whether you will wait for luck or actively seek it. The last thing I will leave you with is this. Make active, thoughtful choices in every small thing. Don't switch to the default, whether it's in how you talk to a waiter or what your first job is. Because it's your choices in their entirety that will define your career, not your business suit or the 2 hours of the client meeting. Don't think of the interactions in your career as a separate piece of your life. It will be a big part of what gives you happiness and meaning. So leaving this hall aiming high for yourself is very important. When I left college in 1978, I had nothing more than 200 rupees in my pocket and a belief in myself. You're graduating in a country with a lot more opportunity. If I could be successful, there's no reason you can't. So congratulations, class of 2013, and I wish you all the luck in the world. Thank you.